Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is RDstar, and I'm presenting the March Madness Ask the Experts tournament bracket. We're going to be filling it out. To my left here, in the middle, is Daniel, the CEO of Vikings Corner. And to my far left here, to your far right, is Justin, Big Country Doriott, who's just about to reach 10,000 tweets on Twitter. How this is going to work is that we're going to be filling out and going through each game of the March Madness tournament, and I'm going to be going first, so Daniel and Justin will get to weigh in on their pick, and then I am the decision maker if it's a 1-1 split for games. Say Wisconsin and Pittsburgh are playing, and they decide to go with Wisconsin for one vote. Daniel goes Pittsburgh for one. I'm the deciding factor. If I go with Wisconsin, Wisconsin moves on. We're just going to rotate that all the way through. So without further ado, let's hop right into it.
Maurice, you're kicking it off.
All right, the first game, Kansas and Austin Peay. We've all decided we're just going to go ahead and pick Kansas since a one seed has never lost before. So the first game that I have, we're going to go ahead and go with Colorado versus Connecticut. Daniel, what do you got for a pick?
I have Connecticut. You got to ride the hot hand coming into the tournament. Every year, the team that is playing the best coming in is going to prevail. This year, that's a little bit more unique because you don't have as many top high seeds that are probably going to really make some noise. So those teams riding in hot, you want to ride the hot hand.
I got UConn as well. Just think that they're going to be a better team on the offensive end. Just like Danny says, they're hot coming in the tournament, and without that buzzer beater win, I don't know if they'd be in the tournament. So I'm picking UConn for this one.
So that's 2-0, and I would also go with UConn. UConn will advance into the round of 32. Daniel, you're up.
Next matchup is the 5-12 in the South region, the Maryland Terrapins and the South Dakota State Jackrabbits.
Ooh, this is
Justin, who you got?
This is a tough one because there's obviously going to be maybe one or two 5-12 upset, but I'm not feeling it for this Maryland team. They got good point guard, good post players. Just got to pick Maryland here.
All right, as much as I don't like Diamond Stone because he didn't go to Wisconsin, who knows if he has a 13 ACT or not, but I'm going to have to go with Maryland. They have been inconsistent lately, but I think being a bigger school, having more experience, playing tougher teams, tougher schedule, they're going to move on and go into the round of 32.
This game's sneaky. I mean, South Dakota State can shoot the three. If they're not shooting it well, it won't be a game, but Maryland doesn't play much defense, so this could be kind of an interesting matchup. But I'd have to go with Maryland. Better team overall, taking Maryland.
All right, next matchup, California and Hawaii in the Spokane region. We got California as a 4, Hawaii as a 13. This is going to be another upset round, or could be an upset round. What do you guys think?
You know what? I'm not buying into Hawaii's hype that I think only Justin's been giving them. I'm going to have to stick with Cal. Like I said before, bigger team. They do get to the free throw line quite a bit. They have beaten Oregon, Utah, and Arizona. So I think that's going to help them, and they do rebound well. So that's my pick.
The Cal-Hawaii matchup's really interesting. Hawaii's got a couple good low-post players that can shoot the ball really well. California, really loaded. They got a lot of NBA talent, probably 2 lottery picks. It's hard to pass that up when you got that kind of top-tier talent. Hawaii really hasn't played that type of competition level, so I'm taking the California Golden Bears.
Okay. Well, next round then.
All right, so Arizona versus Wichita State. Wichita State won their first 4-in game. Danny, who do you got?
This matchup's really intriguing watching Wichita State play in the first 4. If you look at the analytics of the bracket, at least one team that plays in the first 4 usually advances to the next round. Wichita State plays really good defense, number 1 in defensive efficiency in the country. Held Vanderbilt to 50 points last night. Have to kind of feel an upset here. I like Wichita State. Arizona, not as good as they once were. You could argue they should be a 5, but they just aren't as good as they have been in the past. Wichita State plays good defense. I'm taking the Shockers.
Good pick. I would have to agree with Danny with Wichita State pick. The opponent's point per game for Wichita State is around 60, one of the best, like Daniel said. And I just think they've had the upper hand in a few of these close games here. So I'll have to pick Wichita State with the upset.
All right, and that we are going to move on to Miami and Buffalo.
Miami and Buffalo. Who's picking next here?
Justin, then me.
Okay, Justin, who you got?
All right, well, I don't know. There's been a few 3 to 14 seed upsets in the past few years, but I would have to say that Miami is in one of the better conferences in the whole nation. So I would have to pick Miami in the 3-14 matchup.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's experience, they haven't played anyone in the top 25. Their BPI rank is 125. So just looking at those two stats alone, I'm going to have to go with Miami.
I totally agree with both those statements. All right.
Justin?
All right, we got the 7-10 matchup between Iowa and Temple. You start off?
As poorly as Iowa has played, they do have a senior-led group, and they are 4-5 in the top 25. Utah and Woodbury, I think they're going to get past the first game. I don't know how much farther they go in the tournament, but Iowa's going to be my pick.
I'm taking Temple. Iowa has the old heebie-jeebies. They can never win a big game in their life. Fran McCaffrey is the most overrated coach in college basketball, and they never come to play. You get beat in the first round by Illinois in the Big Ten tournament. Illinois is one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. There's no way I can have any confidence picking Iowa, so I'm taking Temple to advance. Well, Justin, it's all on you.
I'll have to ride on Daniel's bandwagon here with the Temple Owls. I just feel like Iowa's been slipping past few games, especially down the stretch and in the Big Ten tournament. So Temple would be a very good pick in this one.
All right. And the 2-15, I think we can all agree that Villanova's going to win.
Yeah, Villanova's one of those teams, though, that always seems to find a way to lose real early. But you got to take them in the 2-15.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, we are going to slide down and go to the West region here. And we're going to go ahead and cover Oregon and Holy Cross Southern. They're actually playing right now. It's 45-46. We're going to go ahead, move Oregon along in that. So, Justin, St. Joe's, Cincinnati.
Man, this is a tough game. St. Joe's has an 8 seed. Cincinnati has a 9. The Bearcats play some really, really tough D as they only give up 63 points a game. But I kind of like St. Joe's. I just like how they only lost to Villanova earlier in the year by 14. I just think they're going to get better down the road. So I'll pick St. Joe's in this one.
Yep, I'm going to have to go with St. Joe's as well. I watched them on Sunday in their conference tournament, and they played really well. They've got a couple good guards. I don't know a whole lot about them. They are 2-1 versus top 25 teams. That's something I really do like to look at. And they have a pretty good offense, so let's go ahead and move St. Joe's along.
Absolutely agree. I would have picked St. Joseph's too.
All right, our 5-12 matchup, Baylor versus the smart kids at Yale. Danny, who do you got?
Got to take Baylor here. Not really buying the hype with Yale at this point, so I'm taking Baylor. They've got the experience. They played in the NCAA tournament. Got a lot of experience, and experience is big when you're playing on that stage.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Danny here. Baylor's one of the toughest teams in their conference with inside rebounding. Yale has their fair share of rebounding, but I just think Baylor is too strong for them on the inside. So I'm picking Baylor in that one.
All right, we got Duke and UNC Wilmington, the 4-13 in the West. Who you got, Justin?
I would just have to say Duke. They got some good players with Grayson Allen and Ingram, one of the top few picks in the draft this year. So I'll just have to ride with Duke there.
You know, UNC Wilmington, when I first look at this bracket, their name is just a turnoff. You know, I like the white boy from Duke, Grayson Allen. Coach K, you know, he's probably above average coach at best, but
Oh yeah.
we'll go ahead and move the Blue Devils along in their tournament run.
Totally agree.
All right. In the next matchup, we have 6 versus 11, Texas versus Northern Iowa. What do you have, Reese?
You know, however, I do like Northern Iowa. They are 2-0 against top 25 teams. Looking at Texas, tougher schedule, better BPI, better RPI they finished with. You know, Northern Iowa 11-1 in the last 12 games. Whatever, they're not in his biggest conference. I'm taking Texas.
Well, I think all the Cinderella dust is blown in the wind from Ali Frokmanesh. So I'm going to have to take Texas with Shaka Smart. He's really injected that program. Definitely going to win one game in the tournament for sure and could win another one.
Yeah, I have to agree with these guys. Havoc defense, as they call it, forcing a ton of turnovers. So I'll have to pick Texas in that one also.
All right, so Texas moving along. Texas A&M versus the closest team besides the Badgers, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Danny, who you got?
I don't think it gets much easier than picking Texas A&M here. Green Bay's in the Horizon League, not too flashy. Texas A&M's got we got big low post players that can rebound. Daniel House is my boy. He's one of my favorite players. So I'm going to take Texas A&M. I like them to make a deep run. They're really deep.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with Daniel again here. Texas A&M, they've had some quality wins against top opponents, including Kentucky, Baylor by 19 points, Iowa State, and even Texas there. So I'll have to roll with Texas A&M.
All right.
We got Oregon State and VCU, the 7-10 in the West. Justin, who you got?
I got VCU in this one actually. I just like how they have some good defensive players on that team. They've only let up 68 points a game, and I just look for VCU to create some defensive pressure in that one, forcing Oregon State to have some turnovers. So I pick VCU in that one.
You know, this has been a toss-up for me, but I'm going to have to go with Oregon State, and here's why. Their potential is just a little bit better than VCU's, in my opinion. They stole one against Oregon. They also beat Utah. They also beat Colorado and USC. They do have a guy named Gary Payton, the second. I'm going to have to go with him, and he's going to lead the way for a victory over VCU.
I'm taking VCU. Defense is really important in the NCAA tournament. They played defense all year. Oregon State just not feeling the vibe, 19-win team. This is kind of a push-pull game. I don't know. Could go either way, but VCU's kind of been up and down. And they got again, you're looking at a team that's got experience in the tournament. That's another thing you have to look at, too, when you're analyzing some of these close matchups.
All right, so VCU moves along, and we're going to go ahead and move Oklahoma along. I think Buddy Hield could outscore CSU Bakerfield by himself. Yep. We're going to go ahead and move to the top right portion of the bracket, the East region. UNC, by default, will beat, unfortunately.
Justin, you got anything to say about that? I know Dunk City's like
well, I just think it's going to be closer than you guys expect.
I think so, too. Yes,
I'd say maybe 20-point game, maybe. 2015, but I don't give it much past that, so UNC goes on.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
So, whose turn? Justin's?
It's Justin's.
USC.
Okay. USC an 8 seed and Providence is a 9. What do you guys have there?
Providence. I picked them. I filled out all 10 ESPN brackets. I think I picked Providence in all 10. You know, shaky in their last 12 games, but they did beat Villanova, beat Arizona. Had a decently close game with Michigan State. USC, their whole college is just up in flames right now. I don't trust them. I'm going with Providence.
I'm in the minority here. I'm taking USC. They got a young squad. Really some good young players on that team. Providence, very, very shaky heading in. Don't like teams that aren't playing well coming into the tournament. That's a big thing for me. I'm taking USC.
Well, I'll have to pick Providence on this one. I just feel like Chris Dunn is a top 5 player going into the draft this year. They play in a tough conference. Just expect them to move on and play North Carolina in the next round.
All right, so Providence moving on. We got Indiana and Chattanooga. Interesting matchup here. Chattanooga comes in at 29-5. Danny, who's your selection?
This is where the world falls apart, and I picked Chattanooga. I really like Chattanooga, and I think Indiana's really overrated. I watched Indiana play a lot this year. They play down to their competition. Chattanooga's got some three-point shooters. I like their offense. I just don't trust Indiana in the tournament this year. I mean, Tom Crean, good coach, but this year it's been up and down and up and down, and I can't trust that coming in. I'm taking the upset here. You always have to pick a 5-12. I'm taking Chattanooga.
That's a good pick, but I'll have to go with the Hoosiers on this one. I just feel like Indiana plays in one of the toughest conferences in the nation, and I don't even know what conference Chattanooga is in. So I'll just pick Indiana in this one. Look for Yogi Ferrell to have a nice game there.
Good player.
So it comes down to me. I'm reading the team summaries. You know what? I'm not gonna be mystified by the 29-5 record. We're going with the Hoosiers. I believe in Indiana. I think they're just too good. Yogi Ferrell is gonna break ankles, and Indiana's moving on to the round of 32.
Okay then. We got Kentucky and Stony Brook.
All
Justin,
right.
who you got?
Well, I got Kentucky in this one. They got some really good players with Jamal Murray and Tyler Ulis.
Yes.
I just find it hard for Stony Brook to win that game, so I'll have to move Kentucky into the next round.
Kentucky's hot.
I've got Kentucky, going deep in some of my brackets. Tyler Ulis, great player. I'm gonna go ahead. We'll move Kentucky along.
Yep, they got guys that can make big shots. You've seen it in that Texas A&M game, a couple clutch shots at the end.
All right. Next game, 6 versus 11. We got Notre Dame and actually the play-in game between Michigan and Tulsa.
So that game's not complete yet, but by the time this video goes up, it will have been complete. I feel like Michigan should rout Tulsa, but just going by what I know, I'm going to have to give Notre Dame the edge in that matchup.
I'm actually going to take Michigan. Michigan's intriguing because they have the number 1 3-point shooting percentage in games in the NCAA.
Good point.
Michigan, if they get hot, they're going to be tough to beat. I think they put it on Tulsa tonight, and I think they put it on Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Daniel here with the Michigan pick. Like he said, they're one of the top 3-point shooting teams in the field, and Notre Dame is not really that special on defense either. So I'll have to move the Wolverines along into the round of 32.
Got to close out on the 3.
All right. So West Virginia and SF Austin. I remember when everybody was picking them to go to the round of 32 or Sweet 16 last year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But West Virginia, better team, better conference. 6-5 in the top 25. SF Austin has only played 1 game. They press and they're physical. And I'm just going to go with West Virginia right now.
I'm going to take SF Austin, and I'm going to tell you why. SF Austin's head coach is a disciple of Huggins at West Virginia. He knows that team inside and out. SF Austin can shoot the 3. They score a lot of points. And I feel like this is sneaky here, this SF Austin matchup. They're always known to play well in the tourney. So I'm going to take SF Austin in an upset here. Got to have a few upsets. This is one I see that's kind of realistic.
Yeah, this is a tough game for me, actually. Both teams love to cause turnovers. They're 1 and 2 in the nation at causing turnovers. I just like how West Virginia is playing right now, so I'll have to move West Virginia to the next round.
West Virginia. All right, final part of the East bracket. It's Wisconsin versus Pittsburgh.
Well,
These two Bucky homers here, we know who they're picking.
yeah, we'll have to go Wisconsin on this one. They've won 11 out of the last 13 games. They're pretty hot, so moving them along.
Yep, I'm going to have to go with former opponent Bronson Koenig and the Wisconsin Badgers here to move along into the round of 32.
I'd have taken Pittsburgh. Wisconsin, hot at the end of the season. Walk-in did not play well against Nebraska. I don't know, just not feeling it.
All right, and then we're going to go ahead and, by default, advance Xavier.
Yep.
And we're going to move to the bottom right portion, the last quadrant, the Midwest. UVA and Hampton, automatically we're going to go ahead and put UAB. Texas Tech, Butler. I think it's actually my pick now, Justin.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's Reese's.
I'm going to go ahead, take Butler. Yeah, maybe I'm basing it a little bit off their previous year's tournament run.
Experience.
But they do have experience. They've been there. They did beat Purdue. Other than that, I just don't think Tubby Smith, he hasn't really done too well in the tournament that I can remember, so I'm going to go ahead and take Butler.
Tubby Smith usually wins one game in the tourney. Texas Tech's got a couple big wins this year. Really like Texas Tech. I think I'm going to take them.
I'll actually have to pick Butler in this one. They're one of the highest scoring teams in the nation. But watch out, because if they don't hit on the threes, Texas Tech could be moving on. But I pick the Butler Bulldogs to move on.
All right, Justin, you're up. Purdue and Little Rock.
Oh,
What do you
okay.
got?
Okay. I actually have a 5-12 matchup here. I got Purdue. They're playing a good conference as well as the Big Ten. They got some dominating inside posts with Hawes and Hammonds, so I'll move them along.
And I'm going to have to do the same. I think Hammonds is just going to be too much of a force for Little Rock. And I don't really got much else to say besides that. They gave Michigan State a really good game in the Big Ten Championship. Impressed me a lot. I think I got them going somewhat deep in the tournament.
Yeah, Purdue's really deep. A.J. Hammonds is about in his 8th year of eligibility. Little Rock's sneaky, though. Keep an eye on them. I did some research on them, and I kind of like them. But Purdue's got way too much down low and too much veteran experience to stumble this early in the tournament.
All right, next game in the Denver, Colorado, we have number 4 Iowa State and Iona in a 4-13 matchup. What do you guys got?
Well, last year I had Iowa State going Elite Eight, and our Final Four maybe even. That might have been even 2 years ago. I can't remember, but they let me down. This year though, against Iona, little school, I've got no worries about Iowa State. Georges Niang, however you want to say his name, he's just gonna completely dominate, and Iona's just not going to be enough.
Iowa State has to win this game. I know I love the local tie to Iona in Barron, but I'm going to have to take Iowa State.
All right. Intriguing matchup here. Seton Hall and Gonzaga. I've seen a lot of hype about Gonzaga. Seton Hall is also coming in playing really well in the last 12 games. Danny, who you got?
I'm taking Gonzaga. Gonzaga kind of tripped up earlier in the year, had a few injuries, playing tough basketball competition too. Seton Hall, really intriguing team too, but Gonzaga really has the overall better players when you break down the roster. So I'm taking Gonzaga.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Daniel here with Gonzaga. They have some returning starters that were from years prior. And they played some really quality competition with Texas A&M and Arizona, and only losing to them by a few points there. So I got the 11-6 upset with Gonzaga moving on.
Sounds good. We got our 3-14 matchup, Danny.
3-14 matchup. Utah-Fresno State, Justin.
Yeah, this might have upset written all over it, but I'd have to pick Utah on this one. They're just playing some good ball right now. They made it to their conference final tournament there, so I'll just have to pick Utah on that one.
I'm going to go ahead and agree with Justin. Utah's going to move on. They do have a really good 7-footer in Jacob Poeltl. And, they're not good offensive rebounders. They don't force many turnovers. But Fresno State, just not going to be a quality enough ball club to take out Utah.
I agree. Utah's playing really good basketball. That's the thing. You got to pick the hot teams.
All right. My turn.
Your turn, Justin.
All right, we got the 7-10 matchup between Dayton and Syracuse. What do you guys got?
Dayton's made a little bit of runs in previous years, but I'm just gonna have to go with Syracuse. Like I talked about earlier, bigger team. Yeah, 19 wins. They don't even have 20, but they're have 2 wins against top 25 teams. Dayton's has not picked up a win against top 25. They're not playing the best in the last 12 games. However, I just think they're going to be a better team.
I'm frustrated at the fact Syracuse got a 10 seed, to be real honest, and Wichita State had to have a play-in game because if they played, Wichita State would absolutely blow out Syracuse. I thought it was worthless that they got a 19 seed. Not really liking Syracuse. Dayton, they're not great either. I think you could honestly probably flip a coin on this game. But you got to go with that big-time, big conference experience with Syracuse. I think they can get one game win here.
Yeah, I'll have to actually go against you guys, and I'll have to pick Dayton in this one. People are wondering why Syracuse was even in the tournament, and I would have to agree. Dayton's had a few close games with Iowa. They won with that. But, I just expect them to move on.
Okay. And then we're going to go ahead, move the Spartans along. Tom Izzo's definitely not going to lose to Middle Tennessee.
MSU's hot. They're ticked. They got a 2 seed. They're going to really, really cause some damage.
So that's going to conclude the round of 64. We're going to go ahead, take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to head to the round of 32, where we can dive a little bit more into the tournament bracket action.
Stay with us.
Did you shoot a big buck in the woods and want to remember it forever? Look no further than Doriott Taxidermy. Whether it's a big bear or a prize buck, Mark Doriott will have it ready in a split. Give him a call today at 715-837-3068. Doriott Taxidermy, keeping you happy one buck mount at a time.
And welcome back to the NCAA March Madness Bracket Show. We've done the round of 64. We're heading on to the round of 32. The teams are narrowed down. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting, some more debate, and should just be a little bit more interesting to listen to. So we're going to start in the South. We've got Kansas and UConn. Daniel, who are you taking?
Kansas is top 5 in offensive efficiency, top 5 in defensive efficiency. That's pretty impressive considering the competition they play. UConn's hot, but you can't stop a team that is built very, very well like Kansas. They don't play well in the tournament, but I'm giving the edge to the Jayhawks here.
Yeah, I'll have to agree. Jayhawks are a hot team right now. They've only lost 4 games all year, and I expect them to go to the Final Four or beyond. So I would have to pick KU as well.
All right. Kansas it is. Daniel, who's our next matchup?
We have the South region, Maryland and California. Justin, who are you going to pick?
This is a tough game for me. I don't know. I kind of like Maryland in this one, even though California has 2 lottery pick players on their team. I just like how Maryland plays in a tough conference there. So I'll pick Maryland to move on.
And I'm going to have to go with the Golden Bears in California. They missed the dance the last 2 years, but like I said before, they beat Oregon, Utah, Arizona. They play a really good defense. They can crash the boards well. I just think that right there is going to give them the edge over Maryland.
If I'm sitting down and I'm breaking down Big Ten and Pac-12 competition, I'm always going to take the Big Ten because Pac-12 I don't think is a superior basketball conference. Maryland plays top-tier competition like Michigan State, Purdue, other teams like that. It's hard to pass up when you got down low play. You got Diamond, Stone, Layman, and Trimble. Like that trio. Got to pick Maryland to advance, even though that is going to be a very good basketball game.
All right, the next matchup, Wichita State as an 11 seed and Miami, 3 seed.
You know, coming into this, I wasn't huge on Wichita State. I know they do have Ron Baker and Van Fleet. I'm going to go ahead and give Wichita. I was reading that First Foreign team has went and made the Sweet 16 a couple of times, if I don't recall.
Always have to pick one First Four team to make a deep run.
So I don't think Ron Baker and company is going to go down easy. The inconsistency of Miami, I don't know a whole lot about them. They do play in the ACC, which is decent, but has a big range of competition. So I'm going to go ahead, take the Wheat Shockers.
It's sad to say it, but Wichita State has experience in March Madness, making 2 pretty decent runs in the NCAA tournament, whereas Miami hasn't been in the tournament, been playing in the NIT. I'm not a huge fan of Miami in this tournament. Wichita State plays really good defense. They can hold their opponent to under 55 points. The magic number is 60, and they're going to win 95% of the time. I'm taking the Shockers.
All right, the Shockers in the Sweet 16.
And then we got Temple Villanova. Interesting matchup here. Daniel, who's got the edge for you?
Don't like Nova at all, but I don't like Temple that much either. So I have to go with Villanova. They play a lot better competition. Big East is more challenging. Villanova just got a better, group of players. Top 15 in almost every offensive defense adjusted analytical database. Definitely going to take Villanova.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Daniel here. Temple got beat by Villanova by 16 earlier in the year. I just think that Nova's guards are too good with Archie Diacono, or however you say his name. He's an elite point guard. So I'll have Villanova moving on.
All right, and that will be the South region. Going to move down to the bottom left quadrant, the West region here. We've got the Oregon Ducks taking on St. Joe's. Daniel, let me know who you're selecting.
This is an intriguing matchup right here. I'm not a huge fan of Oregon. I'm really not. Watch St. Joe's play. Really good guard play. I think they can keep up with Oregon's guard play. I think Oregon is a little bit overrated. I really am upset Michigan State didn't get a 1 seed. That was a smack in the face of the Big Ten Conference. I think this could be a stunner here. I'm going to take St. Joe's in the upset 8-1.
All right. Well, I'll have to disagree with you on that one. I picked Oregon to the next round just because of their RPI rank, which is 2, and the record versus top 25 opponents, which is 5-1. So that's why I got Oregon going on.
Tiebreaker here. As much as it would be nice to take an 8 seed over a 1, I'm going to have to go with the Ducks just based on they have a really great offense. They can score in a hurry. I think they're just going to be too much offensively for St. Joe's. They might be evenly matched with the guard play. But Oregon just probably going to be too deep, too athletic, and we're going to go ahead and move Oregon into the Sweet 16.
All right, Justin, we got Baylor and Duke. Do you like Grayson Allen? Again, will he be magical?
I actually do like Duke in this one. Baylor's going to be playing that 2-3 zone for the majority of the game, and Duke knows how to shoot the 3. So I got Duke going into the Sweet 16.
Yep, being a fellow white baller, if I may call myself, I'm going to go ahead and allow Grayson Allen to lead Duke into the Sweet 16. They won a national championship last year. I think it would be a letdown if they didn't even make it to the Sweet 16. So the Blue Devils will move on.
2 words: experience and coaching.
Mm-hmm. That's right. All right, we got the next game, 6 versus 3, Texas and Texas A&M.
As much as I do like Shaka Smart and the runs he's made in March and April, I think just Texas A&M's schedule, even though they both play tough teams, I think Texas A&M's playing better basketball right now. They gave Kentucky a great game in the conference tournament. Daniel House is leading the team, and they're just going to be a little bit too much for Texas. However, I do think it's under a 10-point game.
Texas A&M can play you any way you want to play, down low, outside. Any way you want to play Texas A&M, you can. Manuel House is playing unreal. Texas A&M is really hot coming into the tournament. Another example of a team that is hot coming in that probably could make a deep run, but they'll have to get through Oklahoma.
Yep. Yeah, Texas A&M beat Texas by 11 this year already, so keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Oregon State. Is it my turn?
It's VCU. Is it VCU or
Oregon State? I thought, yeah.
Did we have Oregon State? Yeah.
No, we did at VCU.
We had VCU.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
I'm the
that's my
official
fault.
writer at VCU.
Daniel's the official writer. VCU, Oklahoma. I know who I want, but it's up to you guys. Danny.
Buddy Hield is an elite player. Buddy Hield can take over this tournament. Oklahoma, really good down low. VCU plays good defense, but Oklahoma can score. So I have to take Oklahoma in this matchup.
Yeah, Buddy Hield's going to be a player to watch in this matchup. Look for him to score 25 plus in this game. I just don't think VCU has the defensive power to stop him. So
two things for me: VCU doesn't have Shaka Smart, and Oklahoma has Buddy Hield.
Yep, pretty easy.
We're gonna go ahead, move to the top right quadrant, the East region. We've got UNC and Providence. Intriguing matchup for some people out there. Daniel.
You have to pick North Carolina. Really played well this season. Kind of had a few trip-ups, but deep. Another experienced team. Good coaching from Roy Williams. Providence. I really like Providence, though. I don't think they can beat USC. I don't think they'll be there, but UNC is just too good of a team all the way around.
Yeah, I'll have to agree. North Carolina is one of the top teams in the country. And then when you look at Providence record versus the top 25, it's pretty bad.
I think is it 1-7?
1-7 on the year. So I'll have to go with the Tar Heels.
Okay.
All
Danny.
right, Indiana and Kentucky. Justin, who are you going to pick here? The classic matchup.
Yeah. I'll have to pick Kentucky in this one. Who knows if Indiana will even get past Chattanooga.
Yeah.
I'll just have to pick Kentucky with this one with elite guards. One of the best point guards in the nation with short Tyler Ulis there at 5'9". Yeah.
5'9".
So I'll have to pick Kentucky there.
Yep, Indiana, Kentucky, they refuse to play each other. John Calipari seems like he's in the Final Four every single year. Jamal Murray and Tyler Ulis. It's just going to be too much for whatever his name is, Yogi Ferrell, to handle. So Kentucky moves on, in my opinion.
Kentucky's mad. They got a 4 seed. They got robbed. They play good competition, and they should have gotten a higher seed.
They sure did. All right, we got an 11-3 matchup with the winner of Michigan and Tulsa and West Virginia.
Well, we could keep on the Cinderella. We could keep on the Cinderella bandwagon and put an 11 seed. Daniel did make a good point with the 3-point shooting percentage that Michigan has. But I just like West Virginia. They're a 3 seed for a reason, and they're going to move on to the Sweet 16.
Watched West Virginia play in the conference tournament. Really liked what I saw. Honestly, I think this matchup really favors West Virginia. If Michigan can't shoot the 3, they're not going to win, and they're not going to shoot the 3 good every night. I mean, just don't see it happening. You got to play back-to-back. Within 2 days you got to play, so that's hard on a team that's got to shoot the 3 and rely on it heavily to win.
Next game.
All right, next game is the faithful Wisconsin Badgers and Xavier. So we got the 2 versus the 7. Justin?
Yeah, I'll have to pick Xavier in this one. Their defense with the 1-3-1 zone could create problems for Wisconsin, as they don't have as nearly as good shooting 3-point shooters as they had in years prior. So I'll have to pick Xavier in that one.
Good pick, Justin. However, I'm going to have to go with the Grateful Red, the Faithful Red in the Wisconsin Badgers. Nigel Hayes, Vito Brown, Bronson Koenig. They do have really good, invaluable experience, in my opinion. They're going to go ahead, make a trip to the Sweet 16, and just show everybody why Greg Gard deserves to be the head coach.
Well, out with Dirty Grandpa, in with the new era of Wisconsin basketball. Reese has some Powerade over there. It's red, so I think he's been drinking a little bit too much red Kool-Aid. Xavier is a really good team. J.P. McCurrick, guy to keep an eye on. Tournament could make him elevate to the next level. Can shoot the threes from Minnesota. Watch for him. I'm going to pick Xavier.
All right, and that's going to wrap up the East region. We're going to move to the bottom left in the West quadrant. And the first game, no, actually, my bad. We're moving down to the Midwest bottom right quadrant, excuse me. We've got UAV and Butler. Danny, a little bit of an intriguing matchup.
Virginia plays too good a defense. Really good defensive team. They're well known for that. Butler, good team with lots of experience. Pretty meh record against the top 25. I think it's something like 2-5 or 3-5, something like that. Virginia is a good team. They're 1 seed for a reason. I'm picking Virginia.
Yeah, I'll have to actually disagree. I'm actually going with the upset here. Well, you got Virginia holding the opponents to 60 points a game, but then you look on the offensive side of things, Butler averages 80 points a game. I just think that Butler will show up, and the first team to get to 65 will probably win this game.
But the thing is, Virginia plays really good defense,
know,
Justin. They're top 5
So, a little bold move by Justin.
Wow.
You know, I think just for a bracket standpoint, for people playing out there, the safest bet is going to go with Virginia. I think there's a really good shot that all 4 1 seeds do make it to the Sweet 16 this year. However, you know, there could be that upset. But we're going to go ahead and advance UAV into the Sweet 16.
They choke some games. Just saying.
They do. I got them choking against Michigan State.
Yeah, absolutely. Purdue, Iowa State. We got the 5 against the 4. Who do you got, Justin?
Well, in this matchup, this is really interesting because one side you want heavy tempo, and then on the other side with Purdue, you want slow tempo. I kind of would like to see Purdue slow it down to like the 60s there. So I want Purdue in the Sweet 16.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and agree. I'm going to take the Boilermakers. AJ Hammonds and Haas.
Yeah, Haas.
Haas is bigger than AJ Hammonds, so they're deep. They got some size. I just think they're going to be just a little bit too physical. You know, coming from that Big Ten schedule, and they're going to go ahead and knock ISU off and advance. To
I
Sweet
agree.
16.
I agree. Iowa State is not a good NCAA tournament team. Never have been. Purdue can play down low. 8th-year senior A.J. Hammonds again going to step it up big time.
All right, Justin.
All right, we got the 11th seed Gonzaga versus the 3 seed Utah.
You know, this is actually a really intriguing matchup. I honestly don't know who I want to do. It's almost a coin flip in my mind. You know, the records are about the same. Utah has had wins against top 25 teams, which Gonzaga doesn't. And they're both playing pretty well in their last 12 games. I'm going to go ahead and just give Utah the edge here.
Yeah, Utah's a very good squad, playing very well. Not really thinking they played the best type of competition that they possibly could have. Gonzaga's a very intriguing team. They have the experience. Utah really doesn't have the experience. Mm-hmm. I mean, Gonzaga knows how to win. I'm going to take Gonzaga in an upset here. I think they could push for the Sweet 16. What are you going to
Yeah, I'll have to agree. Gonzaga with the experience that they have.
Yes.
And Utah hasn't made it in the tournament since who knows when. So I'll pick Gonzaga to reach the Sweet 16.
All right. Final matchup. We've got Syracuse against Michigan State and Tom Izzo's faithful. Who do you have, Justin?
Yeah, I don't think this will be a close one at all. As you look at Syracuse, they love to play the 2-3 zone, and that just falls in the favor of Michigan State. They're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the nation. So I'll pick Michigan State in that one.
I don't got much to say, but Angry Midget, you're going to live another day. So Michigan State's going to the Sweet 16.
Round of 32 has concluded. We're going to take a short commercial break. Listen to our sponsors. We'll be back after a short break.
Is your hair feeling shaggy? Do you have hair in your eyes? Want to feel fresh and fly? Then Mary's Lock Shop is the perfect destination. Stop in today on Main Street in Barron, Wisconsin and get that perfect cut with love from Mary.
Welcome back to the RDstar Life NCAA Bracket Selection Show. We're going to get right back into the action with our next matchups in the South region.
And before we start, my mom just dropped off some cookies for us. Thank you, Mom. We shall be diving into those after the show.
No, there's nothing better than some good cookies.
All right, so we are on to the Sweet 16. We're picking who's going to make it to the Elite 8. We're going to start. Let's mix it up. Let's go to the bottom right quadrant.
let's
the
mix
Midwest, the bottom. We've got Michigan State and Gonzaga. Danny, tell me something about you.
Everybody loves Tom Izzo. I love Tom Izzo too. Love the way they played. Denzel Valentine's one of the best players in the country. Just can't pick against Michigan State in this matchup. Whole country loves him, and I like him too.
Yeah, Gonzaga's Cinderella story has to come to an end. So I just like how Michigan State plays. They should have been a 1, like Daniel was saying earlier. So I'll have to pick Michigan in that one.
Yep.
State.
Michigan State, the Angry Midget.
Yeah.
Angry Midget's a happy midget for one more game. We're going to go ahead, move them along to the Elite 8. Virginia-Purdue, pretty intriguing matchup here.
Justin?
Yeah, Justin.
You got the floor.
That's one of the hardest games. They're both good defensively. They have some. Purdue has a little bit more size than Virginia does, but I just like how Virginia plays in that tough conference over there. So I'll have to pick Virginia in that one.
You know, I really want to get a 1 seed out of the tournament, and the weakest 1 seed, in my opinion, is Virginia. I think Purdue matches up well with them. They got some senior leadership, and they beat Michigan State. They beat Wisconsin twice, if you want to count that for anything. But I think the Boilermakers are just going to be an edge. Virginia, they don't play too well in the tournament. Their offensive slowdown strategy kind of comes back to bite them in the butt. AJ Ham is going to be dunking all over them.
I'm not sure Purdue can get this far to begin with. Just kind of, I don't know, they're just not a very good NCAA tournament team notoriously just because of that. Slow tempo, trying to slow the game down. Purdue is just a really good matchup against Virginia. I like that matchup. Virginia probably, between Oregon and Virginia, the weaker seed is probably Oregon, but Virginia's pretty close. I think I'm going to take Purdue just because they've got the versatility and the play down low to keep up with Virginia. And it'll be low scoring probably because they can both play pretty decent defense. So I'm going with Purdue.
All right, Justin.
Should we go to the East?
Yeah,
Let's go to Philadelphia, yes.
All right, the East region. Number 1, UNC, and number 4, Kentucky.
Now it's where it gets really interesting.
This is super tough. There's been so much hype about Kentucky. I haven't heard a lot personally about North Carolina. They are on the East Coast, a little bit away from where we live. It's honestly tough. I think in the end, John Calipari's recent success is just going to push Kentucky over the top. I think they do have one of the best guard play in the country.
Yeah.
As long as your big men can somewhat neutralize North Carolina's big men and forward Bryce Johnson, I think Kentucky squeezes this one out in a 2 to 4 point game at most.
I really agree with Reese there. Down low is going to be the difference in this game. Kentucky's guard play is better than North Carolina's guard play. North Carolina's probably got the edge down low. So if Kentucky can just neutralize down low, They've got the players on the outside to really score a lot of points. So Wildcats, their reign is going to continue.
All right, we have Kentucky moving on to Elite Eights.
My turn. Okay, so we got West Virginia versus Xavier. Interesting matchup. Haven't really watched either of these teams. Daniel, what's your expert advice?
I've watched West Virginia and Xavier play. Really, really like Xavier. I think people aren't going to give them a lot of love just because, Xavier. But West Virginia, very good team too. Not sure they can make it this far, but I think Xavier's a little bit better of a matchup against West Virginia because they can shoot the ball really well. Good three-point shooting team. Pretty neutral against the top 25. So I'm going to take Xavier in this one. Just like them. I think they're a better overall team.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Daniel with Xavier. Just look out for that 1-3-1 zone that Xavier plays.
Mm-hmm.
You never know how West Virginia is going to shoot. And then I think that Xavier will contain themselves into not forcing themselves into turnovers. So that's why I picked Xavier in the next round.
Okay, let's move down to the bottom left in the West region, starting with Oregon and Duke.
Yeah, Justin, the floor is yours.
I don't know if I really like any of these teams here, to be honest. But just because of who they play, I would have to pick Duke in this one to knock off a 1 seed. I just like the 3-point shooting of Duke, so that's why I got them into the next round.
All right, Reese.
This is tough. This is tough because Duke is my second favorite team. Do I be biased towards them? I think I'm going to have to be Mike Krzyzewski, one of the greatest coaches of all time. I think he's just going to get his team, get the most potential out of them when it matters most. Oregon being relatively new, I don't even know if they've ever been on 1 seed before. So I'm going to have to go with experience over raw talent, and Duke is going to take this one into the Elite Eight.
Both these teams can score. Really think it could be a very, very close matchup with a lot of points being thrown around. Not a huge fan of Oregon. Don't know if they can even make it this far. Didn't deserve a 1 seed.
All right, next game. We got number 3 seeded Texas A&M and number 2 Oklahoma in a big clash.
So this is interesting. We do have Xavier and Michigan State into the Elite Eight. They're both 2 seeds. Do 3 number 2 seeds make it in? I'm not sure stat-wise how often that happens. From what I've seen from Texas A&M, I really like their depth. Buddy Hield though from Oklahoma, I just feel like he's gonna be able to take over the ball game, and they're a deadly 3-point shooting team, and they shoot 43% from deep. That is the only difference in my opinion, and just by the pure talent that Buddy Hield has, we're gonna take Oklahoma over Texas A&M.
I would take Texas A&M in this one. Buddy Hield's a great player. Thing is, Texas A&M can play any way you want to play them. They're not as reliant on the 3-point basket, not as reliant on just shooting the ball well. Texas A&M can play inside, outside. They have a player in Daniel House I think he's a great player. I watched him play all season. Really, really good player. Texas A&M is just a little bit deeper than Oklahoma. I think this will be a very, very close matchup. Probably one of the better games of the tournament. But I'm going to take Texas A&M in the upset here.
Yeah. Well, I got Oklahoma in this one just because of Buddy Hield himself. And we don't know really that much about Texas A&M and how far they can go. They've only reached, the tournament, 1 out of the last how many years. So I'll pick Oklahoma in that one.
Okay. South region, we're moving up there. We got Kansas and Maryland. The 1 versus 5 matchup, Justin.
Yeah,
what are you feeling?
I like Kansas in this one. I just feel like the Kansas guards are more better than the Maryland guards. I don't expect Trimble to have a very good game at all. So that's why I have Kansas moving on.
I'm gonna have to agree. Jayhawks in the Bill Self. head coach there is just going to be too much for Maryland and the inexperience they have in deep tournament runs. Kansas, yes, they haven't made deep runs recently, but a 30-4 overall squad. I think they're just going to be too much with point guard Frank Mason and power forward Perry Ellis. Just a 1-2 punch there. Diamond Stone, you're not going to be able to handle them.
Kansas, top 5 in offense, top 5 in defense, best all-around team, played the best competition. Maryland lost to Minnesota, so that's all you need to know.
All right. We have the 11th seed, Wichita State, and then the number 2, Villanova Wildcats.
So, this is actually pretty interesting. I got to watch Wichita State play a little bit, but I think Nova is a 2 seed for a reason, and they have a balanced team. They're good on the defensive end. They hold their opponents to under 40% field goal percentage, and they get 17 points per game off turnovers, five scores in double digits. All around, just a solid team. Going to end Ron Baker and Van Fleet's historic career at Wichita State.
Villanova can never win big games in the tournament. It's just a trend. Wichita State plays very good defense. They have a great coach. I think they can outcoach Jay Wright because I think Jay Wright is frankly kind of overrated as well. He's never won a big game. I'm going to give Wichita State the edge here just because they have the experience, they have the defense and the coaching. And Villanova, watch him play in the Big East tournament, and I was not dazzled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to agree with Daniel here.
The Shockers of Wichita
Elite
State.
Put Wichita Shockers into Elite 8. I just feel like Villanova's not really good in these big games. And with the experience that Wichita has, I just expect them to win that matchup.
That part of that region in that bracket is wide open.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Iowa, Miami, Villanova, Wichita State all could come out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Flip a coin.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to Elite 8. No commercial break this time. We're going to get right into it. You guys want
We
to
got
listen?
enough ad revenue.
We got enough ad revenue to do multiple shows. So we're going to go ahead and we'll start off in the Kansas-Wichita State. Keep that maybe that Cinderella story going into the Final Four. I don't know, Daniel. Who do you got?
I got Kansas. Kansas is the best overall team in this entire bracket. Like them a lot. I've justified them enough.
Yeah, I got Kansas as well. They just have too much offensive firepower, so I expect them to get to the Final Four.
So that's going to be our first Final Four team.
Kansas has punched their ticket. Into the West region now, we got Duke and Oklahoma. Justin, who's coming out on top and heading to the Final Four?
I like Oklahoma in that one. I just expect them to shut down Grayson Allen and Ingram. I think Buddy Hield will have another great game, so they'll be into the Final Four.
Okay.
No back-to-back national championships for Duke. They're not going to join Florida 06-07. Buddy Hield, just a little bit better than Grayson Allen right now. He's going to go ahead and lead his team and secure his ticket to the Final Four.
Buddy Hield's got a chance to be a top 3 pick if he blows everybody away in this tournament. And you can't tell me he's not thinking about that. Duke, Oklahoma's not a good matchup for Duke either, so totally agree with you guys.
All right, we'll head to the East region now with 4 seed Kentucky, who's been pretty good in the last few years, or 5 to 10 years, and then we have Xavier, who hasn't been in this position in a while. Who do you guys have?
Experience. That's what the tournament's all about.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got guys with Euless who just have been there before, and they're heading back to John Calipari's 5th Final Four in 6 years, I believe. The Wildcats are going to the Final Four.
Kentucky, it's called deep roster, good coaching, and experience. Xavier doesn't have that. Kentucky's got too many good shooters on the outside of the perimeter. Just they can score a lot of points and beat you in a lot of different ways. So I'm going to take Kentucky heading to the Final Four as a 4 seed.
So, we've got Purdue and Michigan State, a rematch of the Big Ten championship. A.J. Hammond, Denzel Valentine, and a bunch of other extremely great players. This is a really tough matchup. Daniel, who are you siding with?
I'm taking Michigan State. Just all around really good team. Purdue, I don't think they have the firepower to make that. If you can get them out of that element of that half-court offense and make them run, Michigan State is one of the best teams in the country in transition, getting up the floor and creating shots. So you got to pick Michigan State, absolutely.
Yeah, you got to pick Michigan State in this one. Never doubt Tom Izzo and company. Just expect them to move on and go to the Final Four.
All right, so that is our 4 Final Four teams, which include Kansas, Oklahoma, Kentucky, and Michigan State. 2 seeds, a 1 seed, and a 4 seed. Not that matters, but the first Final Four matchup we're going to go ahead and look at here is Kansas versus Oklahoma. Really intriguing matchup. Daniel, we're going to go ahead and start it off with you.
This would be a fantastic basketball game. 2 teams that really, really match up well with one another. Oklahoma's Cinderella story with Buddy Hield. Kansas is just too deep for me. Too much offensive firepower. Too good on defense and offense. Got to pick Kansas to go to the national championship game. This is the best team Kansas has had in a long time.
Yeah, I would have to agree. That triple overtime game even.
Man, that was a great game.
Heck of a game there. I just expect Kansas to work down Oklahoma in the first game of the Final Four.
All right. Next matchup, we've got the Kentucky Wildcats and the Michigan State Spartans. Justin, what are your thoughts on this very, very, very good matchup?
I just like Michigan State in this one. I know Kentucky can get on you defensively, but the way that Michigan State can shoot, the way that they have the inside game, and with Denzel Valentine, I just think that they should be in the national championship.
I think I'm going to have to ride the Spartan wave here. It's been a trend across all experts. They're just a deadly three-point shooting team. They got a lot of guys who can contribute, along with Denzel Valentine. Costello, it seems like he's been there 8 years, just like
he's A.J. Hammonds. It's like Woodbury, Gasell, Hammonds, and Denzel Valentine and Costello have all been there for like 8 years. My goodness.
I think, why not cap off Denzel Valentine's amazing career, get to the national championship, and potentially win. So we're going to give Michigan State the nod here, but I do think it's going to be down to the wire. Tom Izzo just going to outcoach John Calipari.
He knows I think he's one of the best coaches in college basketball. He's got his team peaking. Everybody freaks out about Michigan State in January. Oh, they lost a big game, but ultimately, he has his team ready to play and peaking in the end of February into early March.
Every year.
And they are ready to go. That's elite coaching. So you can't pass up elite coaching and elite play by Denzel Valentine and company.
All right, we got the national championship game in Houston, Texas on April 4th. We got the 1 seed Kansas versus the number 2 seed Michigan State Spartans. Who do you guys got?
So this might actually come down to you, Justin. I need to eat a cookie before I eat this one. Let this matchup sink in. I've been going back and forth in my brackets on ESPN deciding, do I go with Kansas, Michigan State? But in the long run, I think I'm just going to have to go in the Big Ten Conference and take Sparty, take the green and white, Denzel Valentine. I think it's just going to outplay Perry Ellis and Frank Mason. And it's going to be a tight one, but they're going to take down the number 1 ranked Kansas Jayhawks.
This is 2 evenly matched ball clubs. Both can play offensively. Both can play defensively. You couldn't get 2 more evenly matched opponents. Michigan State plays elite competition. Kansas plays elite competition. But I have to give the edge to Tom Izzo because Bill Self notoriously is not a great coach in the NCAA tournament. Kansas is just, not a notoriously great tournament team. In an even matchup like this, I'm giving the edge to a team like Michigan State that has been there before. They know how to play. Coach the elite, Denzel Valentine, Costello.
Yeah.
Gotta pick Michigan State.
Michigan State at least is gonna get to the Final Four national championship, where Kansas is not a sure thing.
They're not a sure thing at all. I mean, Maryland, Wichita State, Miami, they're all viable opponents that could take down Kansas. Justin, analysis on the championship game.
Yeah, Michigan State would have to get the nod on this one. Michigan State beat Kansas earlier in the year by 6 on a neutral floor. I just think Michigan State has gotten even better from that, and I expect them to win the championship.
So that is going to conclude our March Madness Tournament Bracket Show. Hopefully you did get a little bit of insider information. Tweak your brackets at the last minute. Go ahead, comment down below your national champion or any upsets that you got. Maybe you got Gonzaga going to the Elite Eight or Final Four. All 1 seeds making it. Who knows? Give us your thoughts and opinions on how well we did as experts. We try to break it down as much as possible for you. Give us our insider information. I want to thank the CEO from Vikings Corner for coming in. You can visit his website, mnvikingscorner.com, I believe. Big Country, or Justin, Big Country Doriott. You can follow him on Twitter, dboy10. dboy10.
With 4 Y's. D-Boy 10.
4 Y's.
His name spelled just
Do it. Yeah.
So 10,000 tweets.
If you want elite Sports Center like dissections of games and Diamond Stone hate tweets, this is the guy.
He's Skip Bayless Jr. and he'll be probably taking over his spot on whatever show he runs.
First day.
Yeah, the first take he'll be taking over. But that's going to conclude it, guys. Please make sure to drop a like down below, like I said. Thank you so much for sticking around. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.